where irrespective of differences on religion, on caste, and so many things, everybody fought together for one common goal. But when freedom was achieved against the backdrop of two great events of horrifying proportions of killing. We had the Second World War, the entire loss of life which went almost as a consequence of one race asserting that it was a superior race, that it was born to rule the world, and that those who it condemned as being the lowest of the low, the Jewish, there was a slaughter of 6 million in Jews in Europe. There was all that bloodshed, and that was on an international scale. And in India, despite seeing that happen in Europe from 1939 to 1945, we in 45 onwards, 45, 46, 47, Direct Action Day, the reactions and everything, we ourselves went mad. We had partition. And after partition, as the Constituent Assembly debated, the Constituent Assembly had one more tragedy visited. That was the assassination of the Mahatma. So we had 3 great lessons paid for in blood, which warned our constitution makers of that day. And that is why, while they wrote a magnificent charter of rights for every citizen, they wrote a whole scheme. They copied a lot from the British as far as the governance of India went, but the relationship between the state and the citizen is what defined that constitution. Probably the one thing that the constitution makers, to my mind, got wrong was to have minority rights defined in terms of communities. It was a simple thing that minorities were protected insofar as conserving their religion, their script, their language was concerned. Those are the only fundamental rights which are given to a community as a whole. But what if the constitution makers at that stage had probably thought a little further, or if I had been there, or they had the benefit of this experience, probably the message that would have gone was that each individual citizen is a minority of one. All of us have several identities. If you take my religious identity, I may be a majority. But as a linguistic speaker of Kannada, of Tulu, I am a minority. In a new country which was being built, to again bring in community-based rights, and was, to my mind, sometimes an invitation to perpetual warring among communities.